All right, here we are, people. We got day 3 going on, and we got Marge here with us, doing a little bit of that good old coffee drink. Don't be drinking that watercolor paint water now. It's clear right now, but it might not be later. You know what I'm saying? Well, how you doing today, people? You doing good? You got that locust under control? You got a strong locust going on right now? I hope so. Check, make sure. Are you stoked? Is your fire stoked? You got that old critical eye locked in the hole? You better get them locked in the hole now. How's that schedule doing? You got that schedule aligned so you're going where you want to go? Get that schedule aligned now. Come on. We got day 3 here. We're going to get our paper wet. I got a nice little new setup. So, you know, I'm kind of working with that right now. I'm kind of excited about it. Probably going to go do a live stream right after this, okay? After I edit this and put it up, then I'll go ahead, jump over there on Discord and do a little live streaming, all right? Then I'll record it, upload it, also to YouTube. And, hey, we'll just go like that, see how that works. We'll figure it all out. Come on now, you know we will, all right? Now, yesterday I got something really cool in the mail. CK shot me over a whole bunch of pictures. He's quite the photographer now. Now, I bring this up because it stokes your fire. Now, if you didn't know, CK's a old school OG when it comes to surfing, and he was down in Dana Point, San Onofre, and all those places way back when. Ran around with a whole bunch of people who became big-time surfers. Sent me a stack of pictures. So, cameraman, do me a favor, go to camera 2 real quick. Now, check that out. Aren't those some excellent pictures? Look at that picture right there. Surfing picture. Look at that right there. Ain't that something? Incredible. Incredible. And he sent me all kinds of pictures. How exciting is that? That's fantastic. Okay, so we'll go through those. Use them to paint. We might even go ahead and get CK. We might even go ahead and get CK on the show and do a little talking to him about hell, how did he get so creative? What stoked his fire? What was he all about? How did he decide to take pictures and do photographs and all that? I think that's pretty cool. Also, there's a lot of history there. Surf history. Southern California surf history that we could go ahead and get into and climb through and figure out what was what. Hear them old stories and hear how people were back in the day. I love that kind of stuff. I take those pieces and incorporate them into the stories that I'm going to tell. And, you know, they also are visual inspirations to manifest in the artworks that we're going to make. Now, unlock your creativity, people. We're getting creative right here, so come on with me. Let's go. All right, moving right along. I wanted to talk about this book right here. Now, check this book out. I love this book. This book is by a guy who did all kinds of video game design and stuff like that, and it's just fantastic. You open it up, he's got all kinds of worlds in here. All kinds of alien landscapes. Look at that. Look at that. Alien landscapes and all kinds of interiors. And let me see if I can find another good one. Look at that. Wow. That's wild. Look at that one over there. How fun is that? He just lets his imagination roam and he creates all kinds of, look, there's some sort of bazaar, you know, some sort of farmer's market or something like that on an alien world. That's great. And so he uses all kinds of different color palettes and simple shapes to put together and make the complex shapes. And it's a lot of fun to look at. It's very, very, very stimulating for the imagination. And he has a couple of books like this, and they're all fantastic. Don't worry, I'll put them all down below in the links. And not only that, but you can go ahead and look him up on the internet and find all kinds of images if you want to go ahead and use some for inspiration. He's on Instagram and X and all that kind of stuff, okay? Ooh, look at that one. That one's awesome. But he's got all kinds of ideas, visual ideas that are worth checking out. All kinds of really cool color palettes, color harmonies, spaceships, just places that make your your imagination want to run. You know what I mean? You want to fly. All right, check that out. So of course he's got a whole bunch of different Structuras, and he's got a whole bunch of different books, and he's got a whole bunch of different things. Get excited about the possibility of what your landscapes can be. They don't have to just be the landscapes, the old boring landscapes that you see out and about. You can make them alien worlds. All right? You can make them on, Pluto, or a far galaxy far away, or any kind of world you want. 2 or 3 suns, maybe 2 or 3 moons, maybe no moons, maybe just rings. I remember I was watching this movie, I forget what it was. Maybe it was Interstellar or something like that. But I remember they went to this one world, and the world was covered by a foot of water. And they were walking on this planet, and they thought it was going to be suitable to live at because they were looking for a new world to inhabit. And they were there for a while, but then on the 12th hour, the world created an earthquake that made a tidal wave that was taller than the buildings go across the entire surface of the planet. And so imagine that. You're running around in water that's 1 foot, and then all of a sudden in the distance, you see a tidal wave that's 80 stories high, taller than a skyscraper, coming right at you. That was one of the best, most imaginative scenes I've ever seen in a movie. And I think about that kind of stuff when I'm thinking about making alien worlds, or, different types of situations or settings that we want to put our paint and artwork into. Today, what I really wanted to do is I wanted to go in and I wanted to do some alien landscapes. Okay, people? We want to do some alien landscapes here, and we want to be excited about the alien landscapes that we're going to do. We're going to take what we did yesterday, the wet on wet, and we're going to go ahead and make some alien landscapes. How cool does that sound? Does that sound pretty badass? Now, I got some noise going on out there, so if you see me looking over there every once in a while, it's them ravens. They're getting crazy again. I don't know what they're doing. They want that food. They want me to come out there and pay attention to them, but I say, leave me alone, ravens. I'm busy right now. I'm busy. Now, these are the landscapes that I've already done. I've already done this one. This is kind of a fun landscape. We got crazy colors going on with some plateaus in the distance. We got maybe some cactuses here in the front. Then this landscape, we got some kind of blue moon, square blue moon with some vegetation in the front and rocks and whatnot. And then on this landscape over here, we got, I don't know, an ocean of lava that's in between all these different landforms and land masses and stuff with really strange clouds. And then down here, I went ahead, and this is the beginning of the landscape, okay? So I start the landscape out with just some scribbles like this. And then I did exactly what I told you guys to do yesterday, the wet on wet, and we did a little demonstration of it. And here's another wet on wet. Now that's just one layer with 2 or 3 colors in there. Can you believe that? And I went ahead and made that the sky on all of these. That's the same thing that's right here is up here as the sky. Okay? And then I went ahead down here and made the bottom darker and put in the land. And then maybe a couple of finishing touches. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to knock that out real quick. Okay? All right. I'm in the corner. How about that? Here we are. I'm up in the corner, people. How about that? Go ahead and take your squirt bottle real quick and wake up all your watercolors. Go ahead and do that. We got her going. We got her going. We got her going. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and get my tape out. Where did I put that tape? Oh, it's right there. Thank you. Got the tape. And I'm just going to do a quick little demo and show you how it's done real quick. Okay. Take the tape. Just going to put it directly on there. Real quick. Now I might, of course, throw in some music or speed this up or whatever, but you never know what's going to happen around here because it's got to be fun. It's got to be exciting. You know what I mean? It can't just be some boring demo. You know, hell, I might have some juggling bears come out, or maybe even some strippers. You never know. Okay? I wouldn't be surprised if one of these days we got some strippers coming out here now during the demo. Of course, you probably won't pay too much attention to the demo, but that's okay. You can always go back and watch it. You know. You just want to be excited about life. Use that genuine desire to change your life. That's what it's all about, people. The obligation is the killer of the genuine desire. Whatever you feel obligated to do is going to destroy your life and put you in misery. That's for sure gonna burn you out. All right, so I'm gonna take my medium brush, my big brush, and we're gonna go ahead and get them wet up here in the old water. Can you see that water right there? Yeah, you can see it right there in the upper corner a little bit. Got the water right there. Okay. Now I'm gonna dab them back on my. Let me go ahead and put my ugly old. Is that better? No, you don't want to see that. Put that right there. Let me go ahead and put my brushes right here on top. There you go. Right there. Get them all nice and wet first, then I'm gonna dab them. Okay. Now, what kind of color should we make this crazy situation? I don't know. I'm thinking, how about a green, an aqua, and yellow? Okay, so we'll come down here. Go ahead and get some of this yellow. Dab it. Get some of this yellow. Now I want the pure yellow, so I'm not going to mix it on the tray at all. I'm just going to go ahead and take the pure yellow. Okay, take the pure yellow. Now sometimes you can get a pure color if you use a smaller brush because there's less water. Okay, so now we got that fun thing going on right there. I didn't paint all over the place. Make sure you don't paint everywhere, okay? You don't want to, you want to leave some parts poking through because that creates a lifelike texture, you know? Not everything is one solid color. There ain't no quicker way to kill a painting than to make something a solid color. You don't want to do that, okay, people? So then I'm going to go over here and get some of this aqua. This turquoise, rather. And we're going to go ahead and just go like that. Okay? Just like that. And maybe move some of it around. Maybe get a little bit more water. Move it around a little bit. Leave some of those white spots, you know, showing through. Because we can come back and use those light spots and add different colors later if we want. Or they can be the clouds or whatever. I'm going to add just a little bit more of this turquoise up here. That color right there. Alright, looks good. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get some of this green, okay? A little bit of green. This green. Going to get a little bit more water, and we're going to go on top. Like this. It's okay if it drips down. Let it drip down, and then rescue some of those water beads by picking them up. Picking them up, okay? Pick up some of those water beads like that. Okay. Now we got something that looks kind of neat. We gotta let it dry a little bit. Okay. Now maybe we want some stars in there or something like that. So let's go ahead and get a complementary color. Now that's gonna be a red or an orange or something warm. Okay? Something warm. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab some of this color that I already have on here. You can't see it. Let me go ahead and show you. Some of that color that's already on there, like that. Fill my brush up with it and get it nice and loaded up. Then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to grab one of my other brushes. I'm going to grab one of my other brushes and do this. See how I'm doing that? I'm just tapping it, tapping it, tapping it. Like so. Okay? Now let that dry. Now as you see, right here, let me hold this up to the camera. You can see right there that some of it diffuses into the color wash. That's exactly what you want to have happen. You want it to diffuse into the color wash. Okay? Then you want some of it not to diffuse into the color wash. So then what you get is a nice difference in sharp shape and soft shape. Some of the edges are very soft. Some of the edges for the dots are very crisp and sharp. It's a nice, what do you do? It's a nice comparison between the two. All right, now I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of some of these by just running a wet brush over it. Then reabsorb that water. I'm gonna touch up here on my napkin to get rid of the water, and then I'm going to absorb the water down here. Now that's what you do. You manage the water on your brush by touching it up here on your, I got paper napkins. But you can have whatever. You can have your toilet paper. I got that bad boy right here, ready to go. Boom, 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 boom. Just in case I need it. So now we got our the beginnings of our sky. The lay-ins of our sky is what I was going to say. Okay. So now we got to think more about what is our landmass going to be like. Okay. Well, I like that whole Mars red earthy color. It's going to go great with our sky because it's going to make our sky really pop out. Okay. So I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to still use the medium brush. And I'm going to come back in here and get some of this magenta right here. This Just dark magenta. You can see that? Here we go. You can see it better. That dark magenta. And some of this burnt umber. Got the burnt umber over here. Okay. The burnt umber right there. Got to get what's left of that. I'm about to squeeze some more of that burnt umber out in there. Then I got something that looks like that right there. That color. Then we're just going to come over here and just going to lazily, very lazily put it in like so. Okay. Now this is just to establish the initial shape of your foreground. Okay. You're going to adjust this later. All right. This is the initial shape and the initial value of your foreground. Now, I know we haven't talked about values yet, but we'll get there. Don't worry. Don't worry. Now we're going to go ahead and make some of these edges softer. Okay? So what you do is you just dip your brush in the water, clean it off, then go ahead and put it down on the napkin. And now it's a clean brush with a little bit of water in it. And you just run that over the edge that you want to destroy and make soft. And there it goes. It just goes right away. Just disappears right away. You want to leave some of the edges harsh, okay? You always want to have that give and take, that push and pull, okay? Always. You want to have some light with some dark. You want to have some warm with some cool. You want to have sharp edge with soft edge. You want to have that play so that there's that visual comparison between the two, and that's what creates interest, okay? The difference between the two creates interest, visual interest, okay? So remember that. All right. So now this is our second layer right here, and it's nice and wet. Up here is drying. We're letting we're leaving that alone. We're letting that dry up there, okay? So this layer down here, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take some dark blue. This is my dark blue over here. Now I was gonna say, make sure you set up your palette like this, people. You start with your dark green, you work lighter to your dark blue, you work lighter to your light blue, then you got your black separating it, then you got your burnt umber, and it works to your darker reds, to your lighter reds, to your, oh, I'm sorry. You got your black up here, then it works to your burnt umber, or raw umber, then you got your darker reds, like your alizarin crimson, or however you say that. Then your lighter reds are over here. Then you got your oranges and your light yellows to your lemon yellow over here. Got yellow ochre right here. But that's how you want to set your palette up. You want to set it up so it makes sense. It has a flow to it, okay? And I put black right in the middle so it separates the warm from the cool, okay? You got how that goes right there? We can talk about that more later. But, all right, so I go ahead and I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to get some of this. This is a French ultramarine blue right here. And I'm going to mix it in just like so. You might need to be woken up a little bit. So, you know, if he needs to be waking up, just grab your spray bottle like so. Give him a little blast. Give him a little blast. Wake all those colors back up. No big deal. Dip it in the water. Here we go. We're going over to the ultramarine blue. We're going to mix them in there like so. So now we got a nice dark blue color. I'm going to add just a touch of black to it. Now the black helps you to get that really dark value that you couldn't get otherwise. But it also turns it a bit gray. So then we're going to come in here and we're just going to go ahead and I'm not even thinking about this. I'm just saying, hey, I'm going to put part of this into the darkness and part of this into the light. And then later we're going to try to figure out what shapes they are. Okay. So this is becoming some sort of rock situation, like a monument rock that's just standing out in the middle there. And I don't know what he's doing. So, okay. Then back there, we'll go ahead and let that fade off into a lighter value and recede into the distance there in the background. Okay, so now as you can see, our world right here is starting to take shape. Isn't that exciting? You can start to see the rocks forming. You can see the sky in the background. Now the one thing that I'm not thrilled with when I look at that sky is that the lights of the sky are too light. So I don't want them to be that light. I want them to be more yellow. I want them to be more alien looking, you know? So I'm going to take some of this yellow right here. Go ahead and grab some of that yellow right there. Grabbing the yellow, load up the brush with yellow, dab it on my paper towel over here to go get rid of the excess water, and then come in here and just highlight these lighter areas with the yellow. And that's going to shift everything away from that whiteness and start to make it that yellow. And it's okay, you can run over other aspects. It's dry, And so this is going to be the second layer that's on top of that first layer. Okay, a little dry brush action. And who knows, maybe there's like an alien base over here that has a more yellow light than not yellow light. So that's kind of what we're adding in there like that. How fun does that look? Okay, that looks great, right? That looks great. And at the same time we're working on the sky, down here is drying. Okay, so that's kind of how you work with watercolor. You work on a section, you let the other section dry. Then by the time you're done up here, you come down here and this guy's ready to go. Okay, and if you need to wet it, you can always re-wet it, but we don't need to. Now, I'm looking down here and I'm saying, okay, well, I want to make a focal point on the rocks. So that means I have to change color or I have to change value. So let me go ahead and jump over here, grab some darker red and orange, something like that. I'm just looking for something cool, for something warmer and a little bit darker. I'm not thinking about specific color, okay? I'm just saying, ooh, that needs to be a little darker, but it needs to be warmer. So if it needs to be darker, maybe I add black. If it needs to be warmer, maybe I add some orange, okay? So now I'm at this color right here. I'm gonna go through here, and I wanna make that rock right there. I wanna make that rock the focal point. So I kinda wanna make all the other light areas recede away, okay? So I do that by adding this wash of the black and the orange. And I wanna make that recede away, okay? And it's okay if you go over into other parts too, and it kind of washes together. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to make it look like life. The more you try to make it cookie cutter or hard edges or definite shapes, the less lifelike it looks, people. So it's okay. Be messy. Life is messy, isn't it? Life is messy. Okay. So now I'm thinking, okay, great. So I got this rock here. Let me go ahead and make something just a little bit cooler and add it to this guy. His value needs to be darker. But the hue or the color needs to be cooler, so he recedes away in the background. Okay? So we go ahead and we did that. Now, I need this rock right here to be the focal point. So what I got to do is I got to make this the darkest dark and the lightest light right there. And luckily enough, I have the lightest light of the painting right next to that little corner or this little underhang right here. And then I got this darkest dark to be right there. Now, of course, I did that on purpose when I say luckily, but that's intuitively I did it on purpose. So I'm just gonna grab some of that dark blue again. I might ugly it up with a little bit of green, like so, and then maybe grab a little bit of black. Now, how did I come to those conclusions? I just knew that I didn't want a 100% blue, so it had to be a little bit off. Okay. So what I did was I added the green so it wouldn't be 100% blue, and then I added the black to get rid of some of the chroma or some of the color intensity. Okay, now we'll go ahead and add a little bit of, maybe there's some steps down here or something like that coming down into the foreground. Okay, we'll get rid of that guy, push him back, get rid of this guy, get rid of that guy. Okay, now when I'm looking at this picture, I'm thinking there's a story that wants to be told. Now this is the important part about art. There's a story sitting here waiting to be told. We have an alien sky. We have an alien landscape in the foreground. And we have a plateau. Okay? The rock is a plateau that's jutting up into the sky, and it's begging for a story. It's saying, what's my purpose? Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to, remember I said you use the design proportion 75%, 20%, 5%. Well, the sky is the 75%. The rock is the 20%. The person that we're going to put on top of the rock is going to be the 5%. Okay? So what we need is we need a very strong, vibrant color. Okay? What color could that be? Well, I'm going to go ahead and pick orange. I'm thinking orange is probably going to be that color. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to load my brush up with pure orange. Maybe a little bit of the yellow next to it. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dot right there of a person. Okay? Now, of course, that doesn't look like a person. Not yet, anyway. So let's grab some of this black and some of this blue that we had left over. Itchy nose. We'll go ahead and add a leg and a head. Maybe he's in a spacesuit. And there we go. We got a person's... Oh, you couldn't see it, sorry. I was hiding it with my, there you go. We got a person standing on top. Okay? And that's our alien landscape right there, ready to go. Now let me go ahead and take the tape off. Now, of course, I could go in and doctor that person up and make them look more like a person. But you know, those abstract shapes allow for your imagination. Those abstract shapes allow for your imagination to really take flight. And I love that. And that's why I love Sparth, the guy that we were just talking about, because that's what he does too. He uses abstract shapes. And that really puts a platform to capture your imagination and let it run wild. And I love that. So you don't know, maybe that's not a human. Maybe that's a robot. Or maybe that's some other life form on top of that rock. But as we take the tape away and reveal the crisp edges around it, it really reveals itself as a piece of artwork. Look at that. Now that's a nice piece of artwork, okay? So, cameraman, do me a favor, come back to number 1 on me. Push number 1. All right, so we're back, people. And that's it. That's how it's done right there, okay? Have fun doing it. Be messy. Get creative. Get wild. You know, don't worry so much if you make a mistake or color outside of the line. That's why we put the tape there, right? The only lines we want to keep is the ones that the tape ensures that you're going to get a nice crisp edge at the end. And that is going to show people that everything you did was intentional and to appreciate it. So appreciate yourself. Get out there and let's do it, okay? Get out.